Okay, take two. I hope this doesn't stop while I'm recording like the last video did. I have to get rid of that one. But anyway, welcome football fans. Big Al here on this Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. And welcome to the Week 8 edition of the week that was. As we'll look at the player and team statistical numbers from all 13 games across Week 8 of the NFL. And after the rundown, we'll look at my Week 9 power rankings. So stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. And off we go with the Week 8 edition of the week that was. Beginning with Thursday Night Football as the LA Chargers blew out the Minnesota Vikings 37-10. Chargers are now 5-3, Vikings 3-4. We'll start with individual numbers first for the Chargers. Justin Herbert, 18-25, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, 122.8 QB rating. Leading rusher was Kamani Vidal, 23 carries, 117 and a touchdown, 5.1 average. Justin Herbert added 7 carries, 62 yards, and an 8.9 average. Leading receivers are Lat McConkey, 6 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown on 10 targets, 14.7 average. Oronde Gadsden II, 5 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets and a 15.4 average. Keenan Allen, 4 for 44 on 5 targets and an 11 average. Trey Harris, 2 catches, 8 yards, and a touchdown on 2 targets, averaging 4 per catch. Cameron Dicker, 3 for 4 on field goals, long of 45, 4 for 4 on extra points, with no punts in the game. Leading tacklers for the Chargers include Benjamin St-Juste with 7 solo tackles, Cam Hart 4 solo tackles and 3 passes defense, Tarheeb Steele 3 tackles and a pass defense. Justin Eboigbe, I don't know how you pronounce that name, but he had 3 tackles and 2 sacks rather. Tui Tuipulotu, 3 tackles and a sack. Same for Odafe Oweh. Khalil Mack added 2 solo tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. And Denzel Perryman had 2 solo tackles and a pass defense. On the Vikings side, Carson Wentz, 15-27, 144 yards, a touchdown and an interception, 67.5 QB rating. He gets injured in this game. I think it was a shoulder injury, and now he's out for the rest of the year. Max Brosmer came in, went 3 for 4 for 13 yards and a 78.1 QB rating. Xavier Scott was held to 2 carries, 16 yards, and an 8 average. And Aaron Jones was held to 5 carries, 15 yards, and an average of 3. Leading receivers, Justin Jefferson, 7 for 74 yards on 11 targets, 10.6 average. TJ Hawkinson, 2 catches, 26 yards on 3 targets and a 13 average. And Jordan Addison had 3 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown on 4 targets and an 8.7 average. Will Reichert, 1 for 2 on field goals, long of 54, 1 for 1 on extra points. Ryan Wright, 4 punts, averaging 46, long of 51, with 3 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Vikings include Blake Cashman with 11 tackles, Eric Wilson with 10 tackles, Harrison Smith, 9 tackles, Jonathan Grenard, 6 tackles and a sack, Josh Metellus, 6 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception, and Jonathan Allen, 5 tackles and a sack. Total yards, 419 for the Chargers, 164 for the Vikings. Passing yards and rush yards favored LA, 212 to 130 passing, 207 to 34 rushing. 29 first downs for the Chargers, 12 for the Vikings. Third downs, 3 of 11 for the Vikings, plus 0 for 1 on 4th down. Chargers impressive, 9 of 13 with no 4th downs. 8 penalties, 66 yards for the Vikings, 5 sacks taken for 27, no lost fumbles, and 1 interception thrown. 8 penalties, 46 yards for the Chargers, 2 sacks taken for 15, no lost fumbles, and an interception thrown as well. The Chargers are in ball hawk territory, possessing the ball for 39 minutes 4 seconds, while the Vikings had it for 20 minutes and 56 seconds. For those new, a ball hawk is a team that possesses the ball for at least 35 minutes in a game, whether the team wins or loses. Closing line was LA minus 3, over under was 45. I took the Chargers to win and to cover. And I took the over 45 in this game, so I won all 3 picks. 1-0 all the way, straight up ATS and on over-under totals. Moving to Sunday, the Buffalo Bills went into their bye week losers of 2 straight, but they exercised those demons while taking out their frustrations on the Carolina Panthers, final score of 40-9. Buffalo is now 5-2. Carolina drops to 4-4 as their 3-game win streak comes to an end. We'll start with individual numbers first for the Bills. Josh Allen, 12-19, 163 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, and a 108 QB rating. Mitchell Trubisky, 2 for 4, 22 yards in garbage time. He had a 66.7 QB rating. Leading rusher was James Cook, and he's my offensive player of the week. 19 carries for 216 and 2 touchdowns, averaging 11.4. Josh Allen, 3 carries, 7 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns of his own, plus a 2.3 average. Leading receivers for the Bills include Khalil Shakir, 6 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown on 7 targets, 14.7 average. Keon Coleman, 3 catches, 30 yards on 4 targets, and a 10 average. Dalton Kincaid had 1 catch for 23 yards on 3 targets, and Dawson Knox had 1 catch for 15 yards on 1 target. Matt Prater, 2 for 2 on field goals, long of 45, 4 of 5 on extra points. Mitch Wisnowski, 3 punts, averaging 48.7, long of 54, 2 inside the 20-yard line. Your leading tacklers for the Bills include Dorian Williams with 8 tackles, Cole Bishop with 7 tackles, Joe Andreessen also with 7 tackles, Shaq Thompson 4 tackles, AJ Espinosa 4 tackles, a sack, a pass defense, and an interception, and Greg Russo 3 solo tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. For the Panthers, Andy Dalton, 16 of 24 for 175, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 70.7 QB rating. Leading rushers for Carolina include Rico Dowdle, 8 carries, 54 yards, 6.8 average. Chuba Hubbard, 12 for 34 and a touchdown, and a 2.8 average. Leading receivers for the Panthers include Tetairoa McMillan, 7 catches, 99 yards, 10 targets, and a 14.1 average for the former Arizona Wildcat. Jalen Coker, 3 catches, 36 yards on 4 targets, 12 average. Jatavian Sanders, 3 catches, 19 yards on 3 targets, 6.3 average. And Xavier Legette, 2 catches, 17 yards on 3 targets, 8.5 average. Ryan Fitzgerald, 1 for 2 on field goals, long of 48, 0 for 1 on extra points. Sam Martin, 4 punts, averaging 52.8, long of 60, and 1 inside the 20. Top tacklers for the Panthers include Christian Roseboom, 12 tackles and a pass defense. Nick Scott, 8 tackles. Trevin Wallace with 7 tackles and a sack. Nick Scorton, 5 tackles, half a sack. A'Shawn Robinson, 3 tackles and half a sack. And J.C. Horn, 3 tackles for the Panthers. Total yards, 410 for Buffalo, 244 for Carolina. Passing yards favored Buffalo, 165 to 130. Rush yards also favored Buffalo, 245 to 114. That's more than a 2-to-1 clip. 23 first downs for the Bills, 19 for the Panthers. Bills 7 of 12 on third downs with no fourth downs. Panthers 4 of 11 on third down and 1 for 1 on fourth down. 7 penalties, 60 yards for the Bills, 2 sacks taken for 20. No lost fumbles, no interceptions thrown. 4 penalties, 20 yards for the Panthers, 7 sacks taken for 45, 2 lost fumbles, and an interception thrown. Time of possession, 33 minutes, 32 seconds for the Bills, 26 minutes, 28 seconds for the Panthers. Closing line was Buffalo -7, over-under was 47.5. I took Buffalo to win, but I took Carolina with the points. Cost me there. 2-0 straight-up record, 1-1 ATS, and 2-0 on over-unders as I took the over 46 in this game. Okay. For the Baltimore Ravens, no Lamar Jackson. It was no problem on Sunday as they beat the Chicago Bears 30-16. Just the second win of the season for John Harbaugh's Ravens, now 2-5 on the season. Chicago sees their 4-game win streak snap. They drop to 4-3. All right, individual numbers starting off with the Ravens. Tyler Snoop Huntley, 17 of 22, 186 yards, a touchdown and no interceptions, and a 116.9 QB rating, plus 8 carries, 53 yards, and a 6.6 rush average. Leading rusher for Baltimore was the King, Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3.4 average. And Keaton Mitchell, 4 carries, 43 yards, and a 10.8 average. Leading receivers include Zay Flowers, 7 catches, 63 yards, 9 targets, and an average of 9 per catch. Rashad Bateman, 2 for 51 on 4 targets, 25.5 average. Mark Andrews, 3 for 34 on 3 targets, and an average of 11.3. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 catch, 1 target for 14. And Charlie Collard, 1 catch, 10 yards on 1 target, and a touchdown. Tyler Loop, 3 for 3 on field goals, long of 42, 3 for 3 on extra points. Jordan Stout, 2 punts, 47.5 average, long punt of 55 with both punts inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Ravens include Roquan Smith, 12 tackles, Nate Wiggins, 8 tackles, or I should say 7 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. Malachi Starks, this is the rookie free safety from the University of Georgia. He had 5 solo tackles. Kyle Hamilton has 8 tackles. Teddy Buchanan with 6 tackles. And Aloy Gilman with 5 tackles and a pass defense. For the Bears, Caleb Williams, 25 of 38 for 285 with no touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 77.2 QB rating. Leading rusher was DeAndre Swift, 11 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown, 4.1 average. He added 2 catches for 26 yards on 2 targets and a 13 receiving average. Caleb Williams added 3 carries, 24 yards. He averaged 8 per run. Leading receivers for the Bears include Rome Odunze, 7 catches, 114 yards on 10 targets, 16.3 average. DJ Moore, 4 for 73 on 7 targets and an 18.3 average. Colston Loveland, rookie tight end from Michigan, had 3 catches, 38 yards on 5 targets, 12.7 average. And Olamide Zaccheaus, 7 catches, 33 yards on 7 targets and a 4.7 average. Cairo Santos, 3 for 4 on field goals, long of 47, 1 for 1 on extra points. Torrey Taylor, 2 punts averaging 54, long punt of 65 with 1 touchback. Defensively, Nashawn Wright led the charge for the Bears defense. He had 9 tackles in this game. Jervon Dexter Sr., 7 tackles and a sack. Deo Odeyingbo had 8 tackles. Montez Sweat, 7 tackles and a sack. Kevin Byard, 6 tackles. Jaquan Brisker and Noah Sewell, each with 5 tackles. Jalen Jones, 3 solo tackles and a forced fumble. Tremaine Edmonds, 3 tackles, and a pass defense. And TJ Edwards with 6 tackles. Total yards, 372 for the Bears, 355 for the Ravens. Passing yards favored Chicago, 276 to 178. Rush yards favored Baltimore, 177 to 96. 24 first downs for the Ravens, 19 for the Bears. Chicago was a 13 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down. Baltimore, 4 for 10 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. 11 penalties, 79 yards for the Bears, 1 sack taken for 9 yards, no lost fumbles, 1 interception thrown. 6 penalties, 45 yards for the Ravens, 2 sacks taken for 8, no lost fumbles, and no interceptions thrown. Time of possession, 30 minutes, 30 seconds for the Ravens, 29 minutes, 30 seconds for the Bears. So nearly split down the middle in terms of time of possession. Excuse me there. Closing line was Baltimore minus 2.5. Over under is 45. I initially took Baltimore to win and cover, but after learning about the news on Lamar Jackson not being able to play, I learned this on Saturday. I ended up changing my pick to the Bears win and the Bears cover, and that will cost me dearly. I dropped the 2-1 straight up, 1-2 ATS, but I'm perfect still on over-unders. I picked under 48. The 2 teams scored 46. So my over-under record this week is now 3-0. All right. Let the good times roll for the New England Patriots. They extend their win streak to 5 with a 32-13 thumping of the Cleveland Browns. The Patriots, leaders of the AFC East, sit at 6-2, while the Browns drop to 2-6. We'll start with individual numbers. First up for the Patriots, Drake May, 18-24, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 135.8. Definitely making a case for MVP. Leading rushers include Travion Henderson, 10 carries, 75 yards, 7.5 average. Drake May added 7 carries, 50 yards, 7.1 average. And Ramondre Stevenson, 14 carries, just 34 yards, and a 2.4 average. Leading receivers for the Patriots include Mac Hollins, 7 catches, 89 yards, 7 targets, 12.7 average. Kayshon Boutte, 3 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets, 25 average. Demario Douglas, 1 catch, 1 target, 44 yards. Austin Hooper, 2 catches, 38 yards, and 2 touchdowns, or 2 targets rather, and a 19 average. Both Stephon Diggs, 3 catches, 14 yards on 5 targets and a 4.7 average. And Hunter Henry, 1 catch, 7 yards and a target, each with a receiving touchdown. Andy Borregales, 3 for 3 on field goals, long of 42, 3 for 3 on extra points. Bryce Behringer, 3 punts, averaging 41 feet, long punt, 1 touchback, and 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Patriots include Robert Spillane, 14 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. Marcus Jones had 6 tackles and 2 passes defense. Jalen Hawkins, 5 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. Jelani Tavai, 5 tackles. Christian Gonzalez, 3 solo tackles and 2 passes defense. On the Browns side of things, Dillon Gabriel, 21-35, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, 65.9 QB rating. He added 1 rush for 13 yards. Malachi Corey had 1 carry for 31 yards. Quinshon Judkins was held to 9 carries, 19 yards, and a 2.1 average. Leading receivers for Cleveland include Harold Fannin Jr., 6 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown on 8 targets, 10.3 average. David Njoku, 4 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets, 9.3 average. Jamari Thrash, 2 catches, 31 yards on 3 targets, 15.5 per catch. And Dylan Sampson, 5 catches, 29 yards, 6 targets, and a 5.8 average. Andre Smith, SZMYT. I always have a problem with his last name. He's 0 for 1 on field goals, 1 for 1 on extra points. Corey Bojorquez, 4 punts, averaging 40.3, 1 of 44. No touchbacks, 2 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Browns include Myles Garrett, 6 solo tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. He is my defensive player of the week. Mohamed Diabate, 5 solo tackles and a forced fumble. Denzel Ward, 5 tackles. Alex Wright, 4 solo tackles and a sack. Devin Bush, 6 tackles and a pass defense. 4 tackles apiece for both Grant Delpit and Dom Jones. And the newest member of the Cleveland Browns defense, Tyson Campbell, had 5 tackles. Total yards, 422 for the Patriots, 213 for the Browns. Passing yards favored New England, 245 to 145. Rush yards favored New England as well, 177 to 68. 23 first downs for the Patriots, 12 for the Browns. Cleveland was 2 of 11 on third down, 1 for 3 on fourth down. New England, 3 of 11 on third down, with no fourth downs. 5 penalties, 30 yards for the Browns, 1 sack taken for 11. No lost fumbles, but 2 interceptions thrown. 7 penalties, 54 yards for the Patriots, 6 sacks taken for 37 yards, 5 of those again from Myles Garrett. 1 lost fumble and 1 interception thrown. The Patriots are in ball hawk territory, possessing the ball for 36 minutes, 12 seconds. Browns 23 minutes and 48 seconds. Closing line, New England -7, over-under is 40.5. I took the Patriots to win and to cover, and I went over 40.5 on the total, got all 3. Straight up record goes to 3-1, ATS record 2-2, and totals over under are 4-0. Alright, now we're going to come up to the first of the 2 big surprises of week number 8 as the Miami Dolphins roll into the EL and blow out the Atlanta Falcons 34-10, and possibly Miami's best game of the season. The Dolphins improved to 6, while the Falcons dropped to 3-4. Individual numbers first for the Dolphins. I said earlier this was probably the best game the Dolphins have played this season. Same can be said about Tua Tagovailoa. 20 of 26 for 205 yards with 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a league-leading 138.6 QB rating. Zach Wilson completed a pass for no yards and a 79.2 QB rating. Leading rushers for Miami include Devin Achane, 18 carries, 67 yards, 3.7 average. Ollie Gordon II, 10 carries, 46 yards, 4.6 average. And Jalen Wright, 9 carries, 28 yards, 3.1 average. Leading receivers include Jalen Waddle, 5 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown on 6 targets, 19.8 average. Malik Washington, 4 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets, 9 average. Devin Achane, 5 catches, 24 yards, and a touchdown, 7 targets, and a 4.8 receiving average. Ollie Gordon II, 1 catch, 20 yards, 1 touchdown on his lone target. And Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, 1 catch for 18 yards on 3 targets. Riley Patterson, 2 for 2 on field goals, long of 36, 4 for 4 on extra points. Jake Bailey, 3 punts, averaging 49.3, 1 punt of 52, no touchbacks, 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Dolphins include Jordan Brooks with 10 tackles. Efidu Melifonwu, 5 tackles. Tyrell Dodson also had 5 tackles, as did Willie Gay Jr. Jack Jones with 4 tackles. Minka Fitzpatrick and Rasul Douglas, each with 3 solo tackles. Douglas also added a pass defense. On the Falcons side, Kirk Cousins in for the injured Michael Penix Jr. went 21 of 31 for 173 with no touchdowns, no interceptions, 81.8 QB rating. All right. Bijan Robinson was limited to 9 carries, 25 yards, and a 2.8 average, while Tyler Algier had 4 carries, 4 yards, and a touchdown. Leading receivers for the Falcons include Kyle Pitts Sr., 9 catches, 59 yards on 9 targets, 6.6 average. Kadero Hodge, 3 catches, 31 yards on 8 targets, 10.3 average. And Bijan Robinson added 3 catches for 28 yards, or rather 23 yards, and 3 targets. That's a 7.7 average. Parker Romo, 1 for 1 on field goals, log of 45. 1 for 1 on extra. 1 for 1 on field goals, log of 45. 1 for 1 on extra points. Bradley Pinion, 4 punts, averaging 46.3. Long punt of 52, 2 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Falcons include Caden Ellis with 12 tackles and a pass defense. J.D. Bertrand, 9 tackles and a pass defense. D. Alford, 5 solo tackles and a sack. And Mike Hughes with 6 tackles and a pass defense. Jesse Bates, 6 tackles. A.J. Terrell, 5 tackles. Total yards, 338 for the Dolphins, 213 for the Falcons. Passing yards favored the Dolphins, 197 to 168. Rush yards also favored Miami, 141 to 45. 24 first downs for the Dolphins versus 11 for the Falcons. Miami, 6 of 13 on third down, 1 for 2 on fourth down. Atlanta, 2 for 11 on third down, 2 for 4 on fourth down. 4 penalties, 54 yards for the Dolphins, 1 sack taken for 8 with no lost fumbles or interceptions thrown. 8 penalties, 76 yards for the Falcons, 1 sack taken for 5, 1 lost fumble, no interceptions thrown. Ball hog country for the Miami Dolphins. They possessed the ball for 37 minutes, 58 seconds. The Falcons only 22 minutes and 2 seconds. Closing line was Atlanta -7. Over-under was 44. I picked the Falcons to win and cover. Lost both picks. 3-2 straight up, 2-3 ATS. Totals are still perfect as I took the under in this game at 44.5. They scored 44 points, so I barely got this one to go to 5-0. All right. Sweet revenge for the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, who of course lost to the New York Giants in Week 6. But on Sunday they came back in this one and blew out the Giants 38-20 to move to 6-2 heading into our bye week, while the Giants fall to 2-6. We'll start with individual numbers first. For the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 15 of 20 for 179 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 141.5 QB rating. Now, this actually led the league. All right, we had 2 100-yard rushers this week. Saquon Barkley gets his rhythm. 14 carries, 150 yards, and a touchdown, 10.7 average. And Tank Bigsby, 9 carries, 104 yards, and an 11.6 average. Jalen Hurts had 4 carries and 22 yards and a 5.5 average. Leading receivers include Devontae Smith, 6 catches, 84 yards, and 9 targets, 14 average. Jahan Dotson, 1 big catch for 40 yards and a touchdown on 2 targets. Dallas Goedert on National Tight Ends Day had 3 catches, 28 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 3 targets, 9.3 average. And Saquon Barkley added a receiving touchdown to go along with his 4 receptions and 24 yards on 5 targets and a 6 average. Jake Elliott, 1 for 2 on field goals, long of 40, 5 for 5 on extra points. 1 punt for Braden Mann for 57 yards. Leading tacklers for the Eagles include Zach Bond with 6 tackles, a sack, and 2 passes. Defense, Reed Blankenship, 5 solo tackles. Nakobe Dean, 5 total tackles. Jalex Hunt, 4 solo tackles and a sack. Moro Ojomo, 3 tackles and a sack. Byron Young, 2 solo tackles. Jalen Carter, 2 solo tackles and a sack. Will Shipley had 2 solo tackles. And Jordan Davis with 2 solo tackles and a sack. Cooper DeJean, meanwhile, had 6 tackles. For the G-Men, Jackson Dart, 14 of 24, 193 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, 98.1 QB rating, plus 6 carries, 17 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He averaged 2.8 per run. Tyrone Tracy was the Giants' leading rusher, 10 carries, 39 yards, 3.9 average. Then you have Cam Scatterable, 3 carries, 12 yards, 4-yard rushing average, 1 reception, 18 yards, 2 targets, and a touchdown. The bad news for the Giants is that Cam Scatterable suffered a dislocated ankle in this game and will miss the rest of the 2025 season. So again, prayers up for the former Arizona State Sun Devil, Cam Scatterable. Leading receivers for the Giants include Wan'Dale Robinson, 3 catches, 48 yards, 4 targets, 16 average. Devin Singletary, 1 catch, 28 yards on his only target. Darius Slayton, 2 catches, 26 yards on 5 targets, 13 average. Daniel Bellinger, 1 catch, 21 yards on his lone target. And Theo Jackson, 3 catches, 20 yards on 4 targets. And I mentioned Cam Scatterable had the lone receiving touchdown for the Giants. Graham Gano's back. He went 2 for 2 on field goals, long of 47, and 2 for 2 on extra points. Jamie Gillen, 4 punts, averaging 48.5, long punt of 58 with 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Giants include Bobby Okereke. He had 8 tackles and a sack. Dane Belton had 8 tackles as well. Tyler Dubin finished with 5 tackles and a pass. Defense, Abdul Carter, rookie from Penn State, 5 tackles. Brian Burns, 4 tackles and a sack. Roy Robertson Harris had 3 tackles. Rakeem Nunez Roches Sr. had 3 tackles and a sack. And Kayvon Thibodeau had 5 tackles and a pass defense. Drew Phillips also had a pass defense, plus his 2 solo tackles. Total yards, 427 for the Eagles, 246 for the Giants. Passing yards favored New York, 178 to 151, but rush yards favored the champs, 276 for Philly, 68 for New York. 23 first downs for the Eagles to 13 for the Giants. New York, 5 of 12 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. Philly, 2 for 8 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down. 7 penalties, 54 yards for the Giants, 5 sacks taken for 15. No lost fumbles or interceptions thrown. 5 penalties, 30 yards for the Eagles, 4 sacks taken for 28, with no lost fumbles or interceptions thrown as well. Time of possession, Eagles 33 minutes, 15 seconds. Giants 26 minutes, 45 seconds. Time of possession, or not time of possession, but rather the closing line was Philadelphia minus 7.5. Over-under was 43. I took the Eagles to win, the Eagles to cover, and I took the over 44 in this game. The 2 teams combined for 58 points. So my straight-up record goes to 4-2. ATS is 3-3, and on over-unders, I'm 6-0. Down to the second surprise of the week, and this is probably the biggest, as the Jets rally from a late deficit to stun the Cincinnati Bengals 39-38 as New York gets its first win of 2025. They are 1-7. The Bengals would have been a half game out in the AFC North hadn't they blew this game. They're now 3-5. We'll start with individual numbers first for the Jets. Justin Fields, 21 of 32, 244, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 99 QB rating. Breece Hall, jack of all trades for the Jets. 1 for 1 passing for 4 yards and a touchdown and a 122.9 QB rating. He also led the Jets in rushing, 18 carries, 133 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a 7.4 average. Also, 2 receptions, 14 yards on 3 targets, and an average of 7 receiving yards per catch. Okay, Isaiah Davis, 7 carries, 65 yards, and a 9.3 average, plus 5 receptions, 44 yards. Justin Fields added 11 carries, 31 yards, 2.8 average. And Isaiah Williams, 1 carry, 25 yards. Other receivers for the Jets include Tyler Johnson, 3 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown, 5 targets. Mason Taylor, 5 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown, 8 targets, 6.8 average. Isaiah Williams, 3 catches, 31 yards, 4 targets, 10.3 average. Jeremy Ruckert, 1 catch, 24 yards, 1 target. And Arian Smith, 1 catch, 23 yards on 1 target. The ageless Nick Folk still kicking in the NFL. He kicks for the Jets. He's 3 for 3 on field goals, long of 46, 2 for 2 on extra points. And Austin McNamara, 2 punts, averaging 40.5, long punt of 43 with a touchback. Sorry. Leading tacklers for the Jets include Malachi Moore with 8 tackles, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. with 7 tackles and 2 passes defense, Azariah Thomas, 6 tackles and a pass defense, Quincy Williams also with 7 tackles and 2 passes defense, Jermaine Johnson, 3 solo tackles, and Jamian Sherwood with 5 total tackles and a pass defense. Kiko Maui-Goa had 4 tackles, and Will McDonald had 3 tackles and a sack. For the Bengals, who did not have any business losing this game the way they did, Joe Flacco, 21 of 34, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 100.5 QB rating, plus 2 carries, 14 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He averaged 7 per run. Samaje Perine led Cincinnati's ground attack, 9 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown, 10.4 average. Chase Brown, 12 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown, 6.1 average. Leading receivers include Jamar Chase, 12 catches, 91 yards, 19 targets, 7.6 average. T. Higgins, 1 catch, 2 targets, 44 yards, and a touchdown. Noah Fant, 3 catches, 41 yards, 3 targets, and a 13.7 average. And Chase Brown added 3 grabs for 32 yards and a TD on 3 targets, 10.7 per catch. Evan McPherson, 1 for 1 on field goals, long of 26, 5 for 5 on extra points. Ryan Reckow, 3 punts, averaging 58, long punt of 65. Leading the Bengals defense was Demetrius Knight Jr. with 12 tackles and a pass defense. Geno Stone with 9 tackles. Barrett Carter with 8 tackles. Jordan Battle also with 8 tackles plus a pass defense. Dax Hill, 5 solo tackles. And DJ Turner had 3 solo tackles. Meanwhile, BJ Hill, I don't think there's no relation to Dax Hill. He had 6 tackles. Total yards, and there were plenty of them by both teams. 502 for the Jets, 398 for the Bengals. Passing yards, 248 Jets, 217 Bengals. Rush yards also favorite New York, 254 to 181. 25 first downs for the Jets, 24 for the Bengals. New York was 7 of 15 on third down, 2 for 3 on fourth down. Cincinnati, 4 for 9 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down. 4 penalties, 25 yards for the Jets, no sacks taken, no lost fumbles, or interceptions thrown. 2 penalties, 15 yards for the Bengals, 1 sack taken for 6, no lost fumbles, or interceptions thrown. Time of possession is 33 minutes, 40 seconds for the Jets, 26 minutes, 20 seconds for the Bengals. Closing line was Cincinnati minus 5.5, over under is 44. I took Cincinnati to win and cover, much like most of the country did. It'll cost me 4-3 straight up, 3-4 ATS, and I took the under 44.5 because I didn't expect a lot of points in this game. But the two teams combined to score the most points of any game in Week 8 with 77, so my over-under record is now 6-1. If you're just joining us, you're watching the week that was, as we're taking a look at the team and player statistical numbers from Week 8 in the NFL. And stay tuned for my Week 9 power rankings following these last 6 games of the rundown, beginning with the Houston Texans beating the San Francisco 49ers 26-15. The Texans moved to 3-4 while San Francisco drops to 5-3. We'll start with individual numbers first for the Texans. Great game for C.J. Stroud. 30 of 39, 318 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 106.6 QB rating, plus 7 carries, 30 yards, and a rushing average of 4.3. Woody Marks led the Texans with 11 carries, 62 yards, 5.6 average, and Nick Chubb, 17 carries, 56 yards, and a 3.3 average. Leading receivers for Houston include Xavier Hutchinson, 5 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown on 6 targets, 13.8 average. Jalen Noel, 5 catches, 63 yards, 6 targets, 12.6 average. Woody Marks added 4 catches, 49 yards, 4 targets, and a 12.3 average. Braxton Berrios, 5 for 38 on 5 targets, 7.6 average. And Jaden Higgins, 4 catches, 34 yards, and a TD on 8 targets. He averaged 8.5 per catch. Kaimi Fairbairn, 4 for 4 on field goals, long of 37, 2 for 2 on extra points. Tommy Townsend, a couple punts, averaging 48, long of 53 with 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Houston Texans include Jalen Petrie, who led the team with 8 tackles. Kamari Lassiter had 7 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. And MJ Stewart finished with 4 tackles. For the San Francisco 49ers, Mac Jones in at quarterback once again for Brock Purdy. 19 of 32, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 84.5 QB rating. Christian McCaffrey held to 8 carries, 25 yards, and a 3.1 average. Mac Jones added 2 carries, 23 yards, 11.5 average. Leading receivers for the Bang Bang Niner game include Juwan Jennings, 4 catches, 45 yards, 7 targets, and an 11.3 average. Kendrick Bourne, 3 catches, 44 yards, 4 targets, 14.7 average. George Kittle, on the holiday he invented, National Tight Ends Day, 4 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets, 10.8 average. And Christian McCaffrey, a.k.a. Run CMC, 3 catches, 43 yards, 6 targets, 14.3 average. Jake Tonges had a touchdown reception in this game for the Niners. No field goals, but for Eddie Pinheiro, and 1 for 1 on extra points, so that's a pretty light day for him. Thomas Morstead, 5 punts, averaging 47.6, long punt of 54, with 3 inside the 20-yard line. All right, leading tacklers for San Francisco include Tatum Bethune, 14 tackles. Malik Mustafa, 12 tackles. D. Winters with 11 tackles. And I think he had a knee. Oh, he did have a knee injury in this game and did not return. So we'll see if he does return in week 9. And then you've got Houston native Upton Stott, who recorded 9 tackles against the Texans. Those not familiar with Upton Stott, he is a rookie corner out of Western Kentucky. And then Renardo Green had 7 tackles. Curtis Robinson also had 7 tackles. And you have 5 tackles apiece from Jair Brown and Robert Bill Jr. Total yards, 475 for the Texans, 223 for the Niners. Passing yards favored Houston, 318 to 175. Rush yards also favored Houston at 157 to 48. 23 first downs for the Texans, only 12 for the 49ers. San Francisco was 3 of 9 on third down, 0 for 1 on fourth down. Houston, very impressive. 9 of 16 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. 4 penalties, 30 yards for the Niners, 2 sacks taken for 18, no lost fumbles, and an interception thrown. 8 penalties, 55 yards for the Texans, no sacks taken, no lost fumbles, and they also threw an interception. Ultimate ball hawks are the Houston Texans, possessing the ball for 41 minutes, 22 seconds against 18 minutes, 38 seconds for the Niners. Closing line was Houston -3 and the over-under is 41. I took the Niners to win and to cover. Lost both picks again. 4-4 straight up, 3-5 ATS. Totals are now 7-1 as I went under 41.5. And they just barely missed at 41 points. So those were the 7 games in the 1 p.m. Eastern time window. Now we'll move to the 4 o'clock window, starting off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had a lackluster performance against the Lions in Week 7, but they bounced back with a 23-3 win over the New Orleans Saints to move to 6-2 going into their bye week. As for the Saints, they dropped to 1-7. We'll start with individual numbers first for the Buccaneers. Pretty quiet game for Baker Mayfield. 15 of 24, 152 yards, no touchdowns or picks. He had an 80.6 QB rating. As for rushing, Sean Tucker led the team with 12 carries, 42 yards, and a touchdown, 3.5 average. Rachaad White, 13 carries, 35 yards, and a 2.7 average. And Josh Williams, 4 carries, 11 yards, and a 2.8 average. Okay, leading receivers for the Bucs. Easy for me to say. Tez Johnson, 5 catches, 43 yards, 6 targets, 8.6 average. Cade Otton, 4 catches, 40 yards, 5 targets, 10 average. Emeka Egbuka, 3 catches, 35 yards, 9 targets, 11.7 average. Rachaad White, 2 catches, 26 yards, 2 targets, 13 average. And Sterling Shepard, 1 catch, 8 yards, 2 targets. Chase McLaughlin, 3 for 3 on field goals, long of 55, 2 for 2 on extra points. Riley Dixon, 3 punts, averaging 50.3, long punt of 58, no touchbacks, 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Bucs include Lavonte David with 10 tackles. Tyke Smith had 8 tackles and a pass defense. Jamil Dean, 6 tackles and a forced fumble. Jacob Parrish, 6 tackles and a sack. Servaka Dennis, 7 tackles and a sack. Antoine Winfield Jr., 6 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. Deion Jones had 4 solo tackles. Zion McCollum, 6 tackles, 2 passes defensed. And Anthony Nelson, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, 1 pass defense. He also had an interception return for a touchdown. All right, for the Saints, Spencer Rattler started the game, went 15 of 21 for 136 with no touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 68.8 QB rating. He would be benched for rookie Tyler Shough out of Louisville. 17 of 30, 128, also with no touchdowns and 1 interception. He had a 53.2 QB rating in his official NFL debut. No rushing to speak of either way. Alvin Kamara just 6 carries, 21 yards, and a 3.5 average. Both Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler ran 3 times for 12 yards and each averaged 4 yards per run. Leading receivers for New Orleans include Rashid Shaheed, 9 catches, 75 yards, 12 targets, 8.3 average. Chris Olave, 8 catches, 63 yards, 12 targets, 7.9 average. Jawan Johnson, 5 catches, 53 yards, 8 targets, and a 10.6 average. He did come into this game with a neck injury, but was not listed on the Saints injury report. Alvin Kamara, 2 catches, 24 yards, 2 targets, 12 per catch. And Brandon Cooks, 3 catches, 22 yards, 4 targets, 7.3 average. Blake Grupe 1 for 1 on field goals, long of 48. No extra points. Kai Kroger, 3 punts, averaging 40.3. Long of 55, 2 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Saints include Demario Davis, 11 tackles, and a forced fumble. Justin Reed, 7 tackles and half a sack. Jonas Sinker, 4 tackles. Kool-Aid McKinstry, 4 tackles and 2 passes defense. And Devin Godshaw with 6 tackles. Not a lot of offense by either team, only 275 yards for the Saints and 212 for the Buccaneers. Passing yards favored New Orleans, 227 to 124. Rush yards, however, favored Tampa, 88 to 48. Saints had 17 first downs, the Buccaneers had 14. Tampa Bay, 3 of 13 on third down, 1 for 2 on fourth down. New Orleans, 8 for 16 on third down, 2 for 4 on fourth down. 4 penalties, 25 yards for the Bucs, 3 sacks taken for 28, 1 lost fumble, and no interceptions thrown. 8 penalties, 40 yards for the Saints, 5 sacks taken for 37, 2 lost fumbles, and 2 interceptions thrown. Time of possession, 32 minutes, 56 seconds for the Buccaneers, 27 minutes and 4 seconds for the Saints. Closing line is Tampa Bay minus 3.5. Over-under is 46. I took the Bucs to win and the Bucs to cover. Plus, I took the over 46.5. Or the under 46.5, I should say. I won all 3 picks. Straight up record is now 5-4. ATS record 4-5. Over-under record is now 8-1. Okay, on to our game of the week. We got the Denver Broncos with an offensive explosion beating up the Dallas Cowboys 44-24. The Broncos are 6-2 and leaders of the AFC West. The Cowboys, meanwhile, lose another one. They drop to 3-4-1. We'll start with individual numbers. First for the Broncos. Bo Nix is 19 of 29 for 247 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 117.4 QB rating. Leading rushers include J.K. Dobbins, 15 carries, 111 yards, and a 7.4 average. And then you got R.J. Harvey, who had himself a game. Rushing wise, he had 7 carries, 46 yards, and 2 touchdowns, averaging 6.6. Okay, leading receivers for Denver include Troy Franklin, I should say. 6 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 targets, and a 14.8 average. Courtland Sutton, 4 catches, 67 yards, 6 targets, 16.8 average. Pat Bryant, 2 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown on 4 targets, 20 average. Evan Ingram, 4 catches, 36 yards, 4 targets, 9 average. J.K. Dobbins, 2 catches, 10 yards, 2 targets, 5 average. And R.J. Harvey, with his 2 rushing touchdowns, adds a receiving TD for good measure, 1 catch, 5 yards on his only target. Will Lutz, 1 for 1 on field goals, long of 42, 5 for 5 on extra points. Jeremy Crawshaw, 2 punts averaging 40, long punt of 47. Leading tacklers for the Broncos include Alex Singleton, 11 tackles and a forced fumble. Chris Abrams-Drain, 9 tackles. Riley Moss, 6 tackles and 4 passes defensed. Pasterton II, there's some news on him. He had 5 tackles and a pass defense. But he is listed as week to week with a strained pectoral muscle, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. So if you're the Broncos, this is not good for your defense. Brandon Jones, 6 tackles, pass defense. And Talanoa Hufanga with 7 tackles. For the Cowboys, Dak Prescott went 19 of 31 for 188. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 51.5 QB rating, plus 6 carries, 31 yards, and a 5.2 rush average. So it was a rough day at the office for Dak Prescott. Joe Milton came in garbage time, finished 3 of 4 for 58 yards with a touchdown and a 156.3 QB rating. All right. Former Bronco Javonte Williams, back in Denver facing his former team, had 13 carries, 41 yards, and 2 touchdowns, only averaging 3.2 per run. And Jaden Blue, rookie running back from Texas, 8 carries, 29 yards, 3.6 per run. Leading receivers for the Cowboys include George Pickens, 7 catches, 78 yards on 9 targets, and an 11.1 average. CeeDee Lamb, glad to see him back in the fold. 7 catches, 74 yards, 10 targets, 10.6 average. Jalen Tolbert, 2 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown on 2 targets, 23.5 per catch. And Luke Schoonmaker, former Michigan Wolverine, 2 catches, 25 yards, 3 targets, 12.5 per catch. Braden Aubrey, 1 for 1 on field goals, long of 24, 3 for 3 on extra points. Brandon Anger, 5 punts averaging 50.4, long punt of 58 with 3 inside the 20-yard line. Okay, leading tacklers for the Cowboys, you've got Deron Bland and Kenneth Murray Jr., each recording 7 tackles. Elijah Clark with 6 tackles. Reddy Stewart, 5 tackles. Traqueezy Bridges had 4 solo tackles. And then you have 4 total tackles for both Marquise Bell and Shamar James. Total yards 426 for the Broncos, 339 for the Cowboys. Passing yards slightly favored Denver, 247 to 231. Rush yards also favored Denver, 179 to 108. 25 first downs for the Broncos, 24 for the Cowboys. Dallas was 4 of 11 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. And Denver was 5 of 8 on third down with no fourth downs. 9 penalties, 80 yards for the Cowboys, 2 sacks taken for 15, no lost fumbles, and 2 interceptions thrown. 7 penalties, 42 yards for the Broncos with no sacks taken, no lost fumbles, but 1 interception thrown. Time of possession, 33 minutes, 32 seconds for the Cowboys, 26 minutes, 28 seconds for the Broncos. Closing line was Denver -4, and the over-under was 52. I did pick Dallas to win and cover. Cost me again. Straight up record drops to 5-5. Spread record 4-6. But my hot streak on over-unders continue. I took this game over 51 points, and they scored 68. So, my totals record is now 9-1. Rounding out the Sunday afternoon schedule, you have the Indianapolis Colts continuing to win games and win them big. No exception on Sunday as they blow out the Tennessee Titans 38-14. Indianapolis improves to an NFL best 7-1, while the Titans drop to 1-7. Okay, we'll start with individual numbers first. For the victorious Colts, Daniel Jones, a.k.a. Indiana Jones. He does it again. 21 of 29 for 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 136 QB rating. Meanwhile, Riley Leonard went 0 for 2 passing with a 39.6 QB rating. Leading rusher for the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. 12 carries, 153, 2 touchdowns, 12.8 average. The remaining rushers for the Colts had a combined 11 yards. On the receiving side, Michael Pittman Jr., 8 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown on 9 targets, 11.9 average. Alec Pierce, 2 catches, 69 yards, 5 targets, 34.5 average. Tyler Warren, 4 catches, 53 yards on 5 targets, 13.3 average. Josh Downs, 3 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown on 3 targets, an even 13 average. And Jonathan Taylor added 2 catches, 21 yards, and a receiving touchdown on 2 targets, and a 10.5 average. Michael Badgley, 1 for 1 on field goals, long of 43, and 5 for 5 on extra points. Rigoberto Sanchez, 4 punts, averaging 47.3, long punt of 49 with 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Colts include Jermaine Pratt, who led the team with 8 tackles. Kenny Moore II had 5 tackles plus half a sack. Austin Ajake had 5 tackles. Chris Lemons, 4 solo tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. And Jonathan Edwards also with 4 solo tackles. Cam Bynum, meanwhile, had 5 tackles and a pass defense. Grover Stewart, 4 tackles and a pass defense. And Mekhi Blackman, 3 solo tackles and a pass defense. For the Titans, Cam Ward was 22 of 38 for 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 76.5 quarterback rating. Leading rushers include Tyjae Spears, 9 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown, 6.6 average. And Tony Pollard, 11 carries, 44 yards, and an average of 4 per rush. Leading receivers for the Titans include Jameer DK. It's spelled D-I-K-E, but it's pronounced DK. 7 catches, 93 yards, 8 targets, and a 13.3 average. Chig Okonkwo, 4 catches, 53 yards, 5 targets, and a 13.3 average. Eric Eomanor, 4 catches, 52 yards, 8 targets, 13 average. And Gunnar Helm, 2 catches, 23 yards, and a touchdown, 3 targets, 11.5 average. Tyjae Spears, 3 catches, 23 yards, 3 targets, 7.7 average. Joey Sly, 0 for 1 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. Johnny Hekker, 5 punts, averaging 43, long of 49, 1 touchback, and 1 inside the 20. Okay. Leading tacklers for the Texans, you've got Amani Hooker with 5 tackles and 3 passes defensed. 5 tackles apiece for Darrell Baker Jr. and Cedric Gray. Then you got 4 tackles for Xavier Woods. 3 solo tackles for both Quandre Diggs and Roger McCreary. And then after the game, the Titans traded McCreary to the Rams for a 5th-round draft pick in 2026. So this was McCreary's last game as a Titan. Cody Barton had 3 tackles and a pass defense. Meanwhile, both Draymond Jones and Tavondre Sweat each had 2 solo tackles and a sack. Total yards, Colts 420, Titans 341. Passing yards favored Indianapolis 256-228. Rush yards also favored Indianapolis 164-113. 21 first downs for the Colts and 20 for the Titans. Tennessee 6 of 15 on 3rd down, 1 for 3 on 4th down. Indianapolis 3 for 9 on 3rd down, 1 for 1 on 4th down. And not a lot of penalties on either side. 3 penalties, 34 yards for the Titans, 4 sacks taken for 31, no lost fumbles, or should I say, they had 1 interception thrown. 3 penalties, 32 yards for the Colts, 3 sacks taken for 16. They had no lost fumbles or interceptions thrown. Time of possession, 34 minutes, 21 seconds. Just a stone's thrown for ball hog country for the Tennessee Titans. The Colts, 25 minutes, 39 seconds in time of possession. Closing line, Indianapolis minus 15. Over-under is 47.5. This is the first of my 2 locks of the week as I took the Colts to win and cover. I got the point total for Indianapolis correct. And I took the over 47 in this game. So my straight up record is now 6-5. My ATS record is 5-6. And my over-under record for the week is 10-1 as we jump into Sunday Night Football. And what was supposed to be the Aaron Rodgers revenge game turns out it was anything but, as the Green Bay Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 35-25 to move to 5-1-1 on the season. While the Steelers have now dropped back-to-back games, they are now 4-3. We'll begin with individual numbers first for the Packers, starting off with Aaron Rodgers' protege, Jordan Love. 29 of 37, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 134.2 QB rating. Solid game. Leading rushers for the Packers include Emmanuel Wilson, 11 carries, 61 yards, and a 5.5 average. And Josh Jacobs, 13 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown, and a 2.5 average. Leading receivers include Tucker Kraft. He had himself a game. 7 catches, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 9 targets, 20.4 average. Christian Watson, back on the field for Green Bay, had 4 catches, 85 yards, 4 targets, and a 21.3 average. Romeo Doubs, 3 catches, 44 yards, 6 targets, 14.7 average. Malik Heath, 3 catches, 29 yards, 3 targets, 9.7 average. The aforementioned Emmanuel Wilson added 3 catches for 26 yards on 4 targets and an 8.7 average. Josh Jacobs likewise had 3 catches for 12 yards on 3 targets, averaging 4 per catch. Savion Williams had a touchdown reception for Green Bay. Brandon McManus, tough day kicking, 2 for 4 on field goals, long of 28, 3 for 3 on extra points. Daniel Whelan, 3 punts averaging 50.7, long punt of 56 with 1 inside the 20-yard line. Okay. Leading tacklers for the Packers include Xavier McKinney, 7 tackles. Keyshawn Nixon, 5 tackles and a pass defense. Edgerrin Cooper, also with 5 tackles plus a forced fumble. Javon Bullard, 6 tackles. Rashard Gary, 4 tackles and 2 sacks. And Carrington Valentine had 3 solo tackles and a pass defense. Also added Isaiah McDuffie, 6 tackles. Evan Williams, 4 tackles. And Quay Walker with 5 tackles and 2 passes defense. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, who failed to become just the 5th quarterback in NFL history to beat all 32 NFL teams. He went 24 of 36 for 219 yards with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 101.5 QB rating. Jaylen Warren led the ground attack for the Steelers, 13 carries, 62 yards, 4.8 average. Kenneth Gainwell, 5 carries, 31 yards, and a 6.2 average. On the receiving side, Roman Wilson, 4 catches, 74 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets, 18.5 average. DK Metcalf, 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown on 7 targets, 11-yard average. Calvin Austin, 4 catches, 28 yards on 6 targets, 7 average. Jonnu Smith, 2 catches, 17 yards, 3 targets, 8.5 average. And Pat Freiermuth, 3 catches, 13 yards on 4 targets, and a 4.3 average. Chris Boswell, 4 for 4 on field goals, long of 56, 1 for 1 on extra points. Corliss Waitman, 4 punts, averaging 48.5, long punt of 51, with 1 inside the 20-yard line. Alright, leading tacklers for the Steelers include Peyton Wilson, with 9 tackles. Cam Hayward, 7 tackles. Chuck Clark, 5 tackles. Jalen Ramsey and Cole Holcomb, each with 4 tackles. TJ Watt had 6 tackles. Darius Big Play Slay and Connor Hayward each had 4 tackles for the Steelers. Total yards, Packers 454, Steelers 295. Passing yards were 360 to 202 Green Bay, Rush yards, 94 for Green Bay, 93 for Pittsburgh. 22 first downs for the Packers to 16 for the Steelers. Packers were 5 for 12 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. Pittsburgh 1 for 10 on third down, which is bad, and 1 for 1 on fourth down. 5 penalties, 47 yards for the Packers. No sacks taken, no lost fumbles, or interceptions thrown. Sorry about that. 6 penalties, 65 yards for the Steelers. 3 sacks taken for 17, 1 lost fumble, and no interceptions thrown. Time of possession, Packers 31 minutes, 48 seconds. Steelers 28 minutes, 12 seconds. Closing line was Green Bay minus 2.5. Over-under was 45.5. I took the Steelers to win and to cover, but unfortunately I lost both picks. Straight up record is now 6-6. ATS record is 5-7. However, I'm still killing it with these over-unders. I picked the over 45 in this game, and they scored 60. So my over-under record for the week is 11-1, heading into my second lock of the week on Monday Night Football. That's the Kansas City Chiefs beat up the Washington Commanders 28-7 to move to 5-3. Meanwhile, Washington is in a slump. They dropped to 3-5. We'll start with individual numbers first for the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 34, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 early interceptions, and a 104.9 QB rating. Leading rushers include Isaiah Pacheco, 12 carries, 58 yards, and a 4.8 average. Kareem Hunt, 9 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown, and a 4.4 average. And Patrick Mahomes, 4 carries, 30 yards, and a 7.5 average. Leading receivers for Kansas City include Travis Kelce, also performing on National Tight Ends Day. Well, since this is Monday, it's more like National Tight Ends Weekend. 6 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown on 8 targets, 16.5 average. Rashee Rice, 9 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown on 9 targets and a 10.3 average in his second game back from suspension. Xavier Worthy, 5 catches, 53 yards, 7 targets, and a 10.6 average. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 catches, 29 yards, 2 targets, 14.5 average. Noah Gray, 2 for 23 on 4 targets, 11.5 average. And then Kareem Hunt, his only catch ended up being a touchdown for 2 yards. Harrison Butker, no field goals, 4 for 4 on extra points. Matt Araiza, kind of an easy night for him, just 1 punt for 56 yards. Leading tacklers for the Chiefs include Jamari Connor with 10 tackles. Drew Tranquill with 6 tackles. Nick Bolton also with 6 tackles. Jalen Watson, 4 tackles. Jerry Tillery also had 4 tackles, as did Jeffrey Bassa. He had 4 tackles and a forced fumble. Mike Dana, 3 tackles, a sack, a pass defense, and an interception. And George Karlaftis had 3 tackles, a sack, and a pass defense. For the Commanders, Marcus Mariota, 21 of 30 for 213 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a 73.3 QB rating in place of the injured Jaden Daniels. He also led the team with 8 carries, 28 yards, and a 3.5 average. And Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 9 carries, 25 yards, 2.8 average. Okay. Leading receivers for Washington include Jeremy McNichols, 5 catches, 64 yards, 6 targets, and a 12.8 average. Scary Terry McLaurin, 3 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown on 4 targets, 18 average. Luke McCaffrey, 3 catches, 24 yards on 3 targets, and an 8 average. And Zach Ertz, 4 catches, 16 yards, 6 targets, and an average of 4 per catch. Deebo Samuel, 3 catches, 11 yards, 6 targets, only a 3.7 average. Matthew Wright, no field goals, and 1 for 1 on extra points. Tress Way, 3 punts, averaging 47.3, long punt of 59 with 1 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Commanders include Juan Martin with 14 tackles, Bobby Wagner with 10 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. Jeremy Reeves, 7 tackles. The number of players with 4 tackles, including Jordan McGee, Mikey Senristil, Jalen Holmes, and Jerzon Newton, who had 4 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Meanwhile, Jacob Martin had 2 solo tackles and 2 sacks. Total yards, Chiefs 432, Commanders 260. Passing yards favored Kansas City 284 to 200. Rush yards also favored KC 148 to 60. 26 first downs for the Chiefs, 14 for the Commanders. Washington did pretty well on third down, going 7 to 12, but only 0 for 2 on fourth down. Kansas City 4 for 10 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down. 3 penalties, 35 yards for the Commanders, 2 sacks taken for 13, no lost fumbles, 2 interceptions thrown. 9 penalties, 95 yards for the Chiefs, 3 sacks taken for 15, 0 lost fumbles, and 2 interceptions thrown. Nearly ball hog territory for the Chiefs. They had the ball for 34 minutes and 3 seconds to 25 minutes and 57 seconds for the Commanders. This was my second lock of the week, as the closing line was Kansas City minus 10.5 and the over-under was 48. I took the Chiefs to win and cover, but I did take the over 47 in this game. Only 35 points were scored. So I closed the week out with a record of 7-6 straight up, 6-7 against the spread, but on over-under, I did really well, going 11-2. All right, 6 teams off this week, including the Arizona Cardinals at 2-5, the Detroit Lions at 5-2, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-3, the Las Vegas Raiders at 2-5, and both the Los Angeles Rams and Seattle Seahawks both at 5-2. So here's my pick summary before we get into the power rankings. Alright, so again, my straight up record for the week is 7-6. My ATS record is 6-7. And on over under totals, I went 11-2. For the season, my straight up record is now 75, 45, and 1, which is a 624 win percentage. My ATS record is 55, 64, and 2, which is a 463. And over-under totals are 68, 50, and 3, which is a 574 win percentage. I went 3-4 in the 1 o'clock games and 2-1 in the 4 o'clock games. I lost Sunday Night Football, but won both Thursday night and Monday night. So on the season, 59 games played at 1 p.m., 42-17 record, 712 win percentage. 4 p.m. games, 29 played, 17-12, 586 win percentage. My Sunday night record is down to 3-5-1, 389. Monday night, I'm back even at 6-6, 500. Thursday nights, not including the kickoff game, I'm 4-3 with a 571 win percentage. All right, we had 10 games on Sunday afternoon. I went 5-5 in those games, and 3 primetime games, going 2-1. So for the season, 92 Sunday afternoon games, including the International Series. My record is 62-30 with a .674 win percentage. And in primetime games, I am now 13-15-1 through 29 games. That's a .465 win percentage. All right, so that's it for that. Let's get into these power rankings before we finish things up. Starting at the bottom, the Tennessee Titans back down at number 32 with a 1-7 record. They will host the Chargers on Sunday afternoon. Also moving down to number 31, the Las Vegas Raiders at 2-5. They will host Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Moving up to 1-7 on the back of the upset comeback win over the Cincinnati Bengals are the New York Jets at 1-7. They are one of 4 teams off this week. I didn't punish the New Orleans Saints for losing to the Bucs, so I kept them at number 29. They have a 1-7 record. Next up, they face the Rams out in LA. Down to number 28 are the 2-6 New York Giants. They'll host the 49ers this week. Down a couple to number 27 and coming off the bye week are the Arizona Cardinals at 2-5. Tough game in Dallas coming up Monday night. Moving up a couple spots to number 26 are the Miami Dolphins at 2-6. They host the Baltimore Ravens to kick off week 9 on Thursday night. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals slipped to 25. They are 3-5, and they'll host the Bears. Number 24 are the Cleveland Browns at 2-6. They're off next week. Slipping to number 23 are the Minnesota Vikings for the record of 3-4. They get J.J. McCarthy back, but they're playing the Lions at Ford Field on Sunday. Dropping the number 22 are the Washington Commanders at 3-5, hosting the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. Up to number 21, the Baltimore Ravens at 2-5. They visit Miami on Thursday night. Dropping the number 20 are the Atlanta Falcons at 3-4. They face the red-hot Patriots next up. Holding steady at number 19 are the Carolina Panthers at 4-4. They visit the Green Bay Packers. Down to number 18 are the Chicago Bears at 4-3, visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. Also moving down to number 17 are the Dallas Cowboys at 3-4-1. They'll host the Cardinals on Monday night. Jumping to number 16, the Houston Texans at 3-4, playing host to the Denver Broncos without Pat Surtain, who may be going on injured reserve. Steady at 15 are the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4-3. They'll host the Red Hot Colts. Jumping up to number 14 are the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-3. They visit Vegas on Sunday. Slipping to number 13 are the LA Rams at 5-2. They host the Saints. Also falling to number 12 is LA's other team, the Los Angeles Chargers, at 5-3. They visit Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. Up a couple to number 11, the Kansas City Chiefs at 5-3. Big game coming up at Buffalo this week. Dropping to number 10 are the San Francisco 49ers at 5-3. They visit the Giants. Steady at number 9 are the Seattle Seahawks at 5-2. They visit the Commanders in DC on Sunday night. Jumping up to number 8 are the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, at 6-2, heading into their bye week, so they are off next week. Moving up to number 7 are the Denver Broncos at 6-2. They visit Houston. Also moving up are the New England Patriots at number 6 with a 6-2 record. They will host the Falcons. Top 5 remains the same with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 5 with a 6-2 record. They are off this week. The Buffalo Bills at number 4 with a record of 5-2. Big game coming up with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Indianapolis Colts hold tight at number 3, visiting the Steelers. Number 2 are the Detroit Lions at 5-2, hosting the Minnesota Vikings. And at number 1 still are the Green Bay Packers at 5-1-1. They play host to the Carolina Panthers. And there it is, folks. Week 8 of the week that was, as we looked at the team and player statistical numbers from week 8 and my week 9 power rankings fresh off the presses, or should I say hot off the presses. Alright, I have a couple more videos to record after this one, so coming up next we'll look at the college football rankings, and then after that the week 10 college football television schedule and the announcers for every game, so make sure you stick around. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.